As you watch the screen, your heart begins to beat faster. There's a fluttering in the pit of your stomach. Your throat is dry. Your palms damp. Suddenly a chill runs down your spine. You clutch the person next to you. You tell yourself, it's only a movie. It's only a movie. But sooner or later, it's time to go home.
Welcome to Film Strip. I'm Lindsay,
I'm Ron.
and we are happy to welcome back to the show April Riley. April, say hi to everybody.
Hi, I am not Jay. I'm April. It's been a while.
Yeah, and I think this is actually the first time you and I have ever actually
Last time it
podcasted
was just me and
together.
Jay.
Yeah. So first time for us, and we are here to talk about the Mothman Prophecies from 2002, starring Richard Gere, Laura Linney, Will Patton, Lucinda Jenny, Alan Bates, and a really great photo of Deborah Messing. Based on the book The Mothman Prophecies by John Keel and directed by Mark Pellington. So, April, the last time you were on this show, you talked about Labyrinth, episode 293, February 2021, if anyone wants to dig into the archives for that. And I hear that even back then you were talking about this movie. So, what's your background with this?
With this movie, I saw this movie in the theaters when it came out in 2002. I still have the DVD. I watch it on a regular basis. We're big fans of Mothman in our house. So my even my 11-year-old daughter has seen the movie. So we're quite frequent viewers of the Mothman Prophecies. I read the book as well, but I read the book like 20 years ago, so I don't remember anything about it.
Cool. Ron, what's your background with this one?
Oh, I don't like Mothman at all. This is terrible. No, uh, my wife is a big fan of Mothman Prophecies, and She's a big moth head. Um,
A moth
she's
fan.
a lamp moth. She's a moth. Oh, that's so good. She's a moth fan. So this is actually her Mothman onesie and her Mothman baby and stuff that I'm stealing. I'm stolen valor over here. But
Nice.
I saw this on home video. I think like most people did. Um, because I don't remember it being a huge hit. Uh, but yeah, home video, one of the many family video nights back when that was the thing that people did. Um, and I don't remember it going over very well in the room. I think people were not super happy that Mothman there wasn't gutting people or something. I don't remember.
I had a similar experience, Ron. I watched this. It was a rental from our local movie max. I think my brother and I were the ones that really wanted to see it. So we got this one and watched it. And I remember liking it. I don't think I've seen it since I was probably in high school or college, which basically, I don't think I've seen it since very shortly after it came out. But I remember liking it then, but sometimes that's a crapshoot, right? I remembered really liking Crybaby when I was a kid, but turns out that's a really weird ass movie when you watch it as an adult. So, I rolled the dice and it was good. I was happy that I at least remembered the timeline. I did think that I remembered seeing it in high school. And then when I saw that it came out in 2002, I was like, all right, that tracks. At least that was right.
Okay, 2002. I might have actually been. I was working in the video store when this came out.
Was this a popular one in the video store when you were working there? Or is that where you
Um,
were like people didn't like it because it wasn't gory enough?
that's where people didn't like it because it wasn't gory enough. We did watch it as like a family movie night at my aunt and uncle's house, and I think they were just mostly bored with it,
Yeah, I could
which
see
is
that.
kind of understandable. It's not exactly a rip roaring paced movie, But I don't want to jump into that before we get started officially.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, it was the runtime of this is just about 2 hours, and we just talked about this, I think, on one of our last episodes, that in my humble opinion, no horror movie, and I'll add thriller to this since I don't know if this technically falls under the horror umbrella for me, but I don't think they need to be longer than 90 minutes, so I was a little skeptical. Had some, there was some gas in it, but I don't know. April, how often do you watch this movie?
I don't want to say too often. Watching it to kind of refresh myself for this episode. I probably watched it about a year and a half ago. So I would say probably once every 1 to 2 years we watch it.
Okay,
I usually show it to my kids, but it's the Mothman in the name. It does a lot of heavy lifting in regards to this movie.
fair.
So yeah, I would say probably once every 1 to 2 years we watch it.
All right. Now, next question, part 2. Since you're a semi-regular viewer, do you watch it as a Christmas movie? Because I forgot that is when it takes place.
This is the funniest part because I watched it today and this had never occurred to me, but like I've been a guest on Tis the podcast before several times, and I'm like, wait a minute, is this a Christmas movie?
Secret Christmas movie. Yes.
Right. So I'm like, this could be a
Yeah.
Christmas movie. I mean, because the beginning starts at Christmas.
Yeah.
We're skipping the Christmas party. The end is at Christmas, so maybe it's a Christmas movie.
Yep. When I was trying to figure out where it started, and I used to live right outside of DC, not right outside of DC, but I lived in the metro area, and I said, because I got my husband to watch it with me, that it looked like DC, and he goes, "It's a Christmas movie. It's got to be in Chicago." And it was like, oh, maybe it is. And then it turns out it was in DC, but Chicago totally photobombed this movie.
Mhm.
Like, it has to be in every Christmas movie in some way. Such a
It does make an
selfish
appearance in
city.
this movie.
I know. Anyway, well, I'll see if I can get
April,
Yes.
before you get going, April,
there.
if you mention this to Tis the podcast, please like record Tom's reaction to you saying, "Let's watch Mothman Prophecies as a Christmas movie,"
It
because
is.
I think
Yeah,
his head will explode.
yeah. And like I said, it's just a little mention at the beginning and a little mention at the end. So whether or not it is enough for Christmas to be considered a Christmas movie, that is very debatable.
I think I think it's I would count it. Look, there are Christmas presents. I feel like there's a lot of Christmas. There's no
Mhm.
Christmas music. So if that's
I
that's
don't know
I
how
fair.
feel like Richard Gere. No, go ahead.
I was gonna say I also know how Christmassy a movie that ends with 3 dozen deaths might feel to people.
But it ends with one of them not dying.
Yeah, I mean that's a plus.
So that's kind of a feel-good thing.
That is, it's a Christmas miracle.
Yeah.
And look,
After
Richard Gere learns the true meaning of Mothman, and that's something that we all need to keep in our hearts for the holiday season.
You know what? This did take me back. This is not plot relevant, but watching it again, I remember thinking how I feel like all the moms loved Richard Gere right around this time
100%.
frame. That late 90s, early aughts, it was like Richard Gere, George Clooney, and Nicolas Cage. Like they were the three powerhouse men in Hollywood that all the moms went crazy for.
I feel
My
like
mom
Tom
did
Cruise was
anyway.
also in that mix.
I don't feel
He
like
had
Tom
yet to
Cruise was a
go.
mom's guy. I feel like Nick
Yeah.
Nolte might have been in that mix for a while before he went off the bend.
I don't remember Nick Nolte ever coming up, but I could see it. No, it was all
Well,
because
he was the
George
generation, like he was the generation before that, because he was like people's
Fair.
sexiest man in like 94,
That's
93.
so weird to think about.
Yeah.
It is, especially if you think about Nick Nolte now.
Yeah. Even like not Nick Nolte now, but Nick Nolte,
5
yeah,
years
10
after
years.
that,
Yeah, yeah.
not
Mhm.
even 10. He fell off a cliff hard.
Yeah.
Mm,
Well, George Clooney was big on ER,
yes,
and that show was just really hot at the time, I think. I don't know, I remember my mom watching it all the time.
my mom watched it too.
Yeah. Yep. So, Richard Gere, she probably sat down and watched this with myself and my brother when we rented it. My stepdad probably fell asleep, if I had to guess. It was a family
This
movie
was
night.
like, was this like the end of Richard Gere's peak as a Hollywood A-list guy? Because he had Dr. T and the Women, and then this, and it felt like those came out pretty close in time to one another, and neither one of them was like super successful.
I was gonna say, would you consider this peak Richard Gere?
I think this is like the slope. Like this is like the
Okay.
bridge after the first like spanner has given way and the first rope snaps and kills CJ RIP.
Yeah. Well, he was in Chicago the same year, which was a pretty big hit. But yeah, Pretty
Yeah,
Woman.
but that's
Everyone
like an
really liked him for Pretty Woman. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
mhm, mhm. Good point. Maybe
Do
maybe
you
this
think
was his other side of the mountain. This is where he starts going downhill.
do you think that's why they picked Deborah Messing to be his wife in the opening of this?
To
To try to recapture that pretty woman. Look, it's a pretty redheaded
Oh,
lady
another
with
redhead.
yep.
Oh, I didn't
And the
think
picture
about
they show of
that.
her, the whole thing is like, here's Deborah Messing and her boobs. Pay attention to
Yeah,
that.
yeah. They showed that picture a lot.
Mhm.
It was great. It was a great photo that he hung
I
up.
hope
She
she
had
got paid really well for that picture because like that picture got more screen time than she did.
Yeah.
yeah, her screen time was small but mighty, though. Like,
Mhm.
she had some really powerful acting going on there. She was
Yeah,
yeah, she was really good for the part that she was given. But, well,
and I mean that's no slight like on her, right? Like
yeah,
it's not a
no.
reference to her performance. It's just the power of her cleavage, I guess, in this movie. I feel like the only reason she's in that like bikini top is so people are like, why is somebody as handsome as Richard Gere not like still like hung up on his dead wife? It's been a couple of years. It's like, oh, okay, those make sense. I mean, that
That's
makes
why.
sense.
They were just 2 crazy kids in love
Yeah.
in the
Two,
city
two.
of DC, where people are notoriously not attractive.
Mm.
So, she's definitely a DC 10.
I feel like she's a 10 in a lot of places. Um, TBH,
She's
but
definitely a 10
in
in Point
in
Pleasant, West
DC,
Virginia.
she's probably
Yeah.
in Point Pleasant. She's like a 50. Let's not kid ourselves.
Well, before we get too deep into the movie or start, talking about other important things, I'll kick it off with a plot summary. We'll see if I can get through it. Actually, it's not that long, so I think it'll be fine. But this movie, basically, imagine the X-Files if Mulder was replaced by Richard Gere's cheekbones and the monster only communicates via late-night robocalls. That's the Mothman Prophecies. It's a moody thriller where a DC reporter named John Klein takes the world's weirdest road trip, accidentally fast traveling to Point Pleasant, West Virginia, a town that's basically a paranormal call center with scenic river views. So John's journey starts when his wife Mary crashes the car after seeing something with red eyes and serious wing panache. While in the hospital, doctors discover that Mary has a rare brain tumor, which ultimately leads to her death. But what's really important here is that she leaves behind a portfolio of unsettling moth doodles. 2 years later, John decides to head to Richmond at 1 a.m., about 12 hours or so earlier than necessary, for an interview. And he somehow ends up on the West Virginia Ohio border, knocking on a stranger's door at 2:30 in the morning with no idea how he got there. The local cop, Connie, played by Laura Linney, who is the human embodiment of Let's Keep It Together, helps him navigate a community reporting light shows, prophetic phone calls, and a cryptid who's apparently subscribed to everyone's calendar alerts. Enter Indrid Cold, a voice on the line who knows what's in your pocket, what you wrote on your notepad, and where you'll be before you do. He or she or it is like Siri if Siri were an eldritch being and also your least favorite telemarketer. John seeks advice from Alexander Leake, a scholar turned umbrella enthusiast, who explains that Mothman isn't here to hurt you. He's the universe's passive-aggressive sticky note, basically saying things like bridge inspection overdue. As the prophecies ramp up, so does John's obsession. He tries to stop doom from happening, only to learn that fate doesn't take meetings. The finale is a tense, waterlogged set on a bridge where time, warnings, and reality collide, and John discovers that the point of a prophecy might not be stopping the disaster so much as being in the right place to save someone who needs you. And Laura Linney gets
Very
saved
nice.
right as Christmas happens.
And then we end to Jingle Bell Rock ?
I'd be fine with that.
Yeah,
Can
that should have
you?
gone out on a Christmas song.
Yeah, that'd be a strong close. So
They're just going to do a new version of God Rest Ye Merry Gentle Moths. I'm sorry.
Easy when you're
that's what
sleeping. He knows when you're awake. Good
that's
Indrid
what we
Cold
should
song.
have done for this,
He,
Ron. You
he
and or
knows when the
Jay.
bridge will collapse.
Ron's gonna sing a whole Christmas song for us before this is over. So the opening house scene where they are house hunting in what I assume is Georgetown. He did end up buying that house. You two keep me honest here. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, that is the house.
Probably for like $80,000 or something stupid.
It's disgusting how inexpensive like a house in Georgetown, that one would probably be $5 million right now.
Yeah.
He bought it on a salary working at
the Washington Post. Yeah.
But we didn't know what she did. So maybe she was a breadwinner.
That's true. And maybe she had a really good insurance policy.
Yeah,
Fair
she was a
point.
Colombian drug lord.
Maybe she came from money. There are a lot of wealthy people in that area. She could be an heiress of some kind, but she kind of gave heiress vibes. That was really cute, though. That opening scene, I thought, really gelled their whole relationship just before the car accident / rare brain tumor.
Them being unable to keep their hands off each other while the realtor's like in the next room.
Sure.
Yeah. He's like, take a few minutes
and the realtor did not seem shocked about finding them in the closet.
That's it. He got the sale. Why? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think this was the first house he showed them?
I don't know.
Oh.
Right?
I don't.
Because if it wasn't,
he was quite pushy about it. He was like, "We really need to make an offer now," and they're just like, "I'll take it," like it's a dress off the rack.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like this is like house 8, and this is like the 8th house where he's caught them in some sort of broom closet or master bathroom or unfinished basement or crawl space.
Just going at it. Where the washer and dryer sit.
I mean,
alcove, reading nook, bay window.
It almost opened like it was a cheap, fun little date for them, like role playing, buying this big $1,000,000-something house in Georgetown, but really they're just going to find a closet. And then they actually
that thought did cross my mind. I was like, was this like just for them to hook up, or were they actually house hunting? Maybe he only bought the house because she died
Maybe.
with the insurance
I
money.
got that sweet, sweet insurance money. We're writing a
Well, they
very
didn't
different
also.
movie.
They also didn't mention that he bought the dumpster behind Arby's, so that's probably part of it too.
I wonder how close to the Exorcist steps it was.
Interesting.
But they buy a house, they're all excited, they're driving home, they're talking about how great it is, and then bam, she just sees this weird moth thing, she thinks, and then starts scrapbooking all about it. Yes.
Sorry for the audio listeners. I was pantomiming having the Mothman fly towards my
The
phone
screen.
camera
Slowly.
thing to imply the only appearance of Mothman in this movie
That
isn't like a
isn't
doodle.
sketched out. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
He does appear in
Yeah,
a pupil
that
at one
isn't like
point
a.
in her picture.
Oh,
Like,
that's right.
yeah.
Yeah. And he kind of appears it kind of appears, I want to use the right pronouns. It kind of appears in that one kid's eyeball. Not in
Mhm.
his, you know what, how
The,
it
That's
like,
the
right.
one the
yeah,
one kid who was making out with his girlfriend and had the round
yeah,
face. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Maybe Mothman just likes people who are into like crash type make out in car scenarios.
Really, he does have a pattern of people he likes to visit.
That's
Yeah,
what,
so they're slobbering on each other in an open house that's not theirs. Presumably, they were just making out in the car when they
Mothman is
were
yeah,
loyal.
driving back. Yeah.
yeah. What about the older woman that saw him out her window, though?
Oh, she
She
is.
could have been engaged
Uh,
in her own activities.
That's fair. That was
yeah,
unclear. Huh.
she has a long running affair with the the postman that she's following around secretly and has been for years.
We didn't find out what she was doing when she saw Mothman, right?
That's true.
Hmm.
The Schwan man could have been over. Did you guys have Schwan
I
growing up? Like the
remember.
Schwan's guy?
I remember this.
He would drive down the street and then you could buy ice cream or frozen pizzas
You
or
like
whatever.
order frozen food to have it delivered. That I guess maybe Schwann's went out of delivery when HelloFresh came about. I don't know.
I don't
I
know.
think they're still around.
I haven't seen one in years.
I feel like Omaha Steaks bought them or something.
Hmm.
I
I
don't know.
remember,
Maybe I'm just making things up.
The idea that somebody used to like knock on your door to sell you meat is a fever dream.
yeah. Oh, I remember the Schwan's guy coming like through our neighborhood. He drove through the neighborhood and he had houses that he would stop at that always bought stuff from him.
Mhm.
So he would just go to those houses. And he drove past ours, and my mom sent my brother and I to chase him up the street to make him come back so that
Like the ice cream
Nice.
truck.
yes, so that we could buy more. I don't know. They sold like some kind of Kool-Aid thing that was basically Crystal Light, but in the 90s.
Hmm.
And I guess Crystal Light was also in the 90s, but it was a Schwann's version of, 0-calorie Kool-Aid stuff. And then a cheese ring. They sold really good food, now that I think about it. But
What is a cheese ring?
Yeah.
it's a cheese, it's like breaded cheese in a circle, in a ring, and then in the middle of it, it's kinda like a stromboli, but just a full circle, and in the middle, there
Oh.
was a big dish of marinara sauce. So you would just
Mm.
take the plastic off the top, pop it in the oven, and then it popped out, and you had, like, this delicious cheesy bread that you just dipped in marinara sauce.
Hmm.
So it's kind of like the savory version of like a Danish Kringle
Yeah.
from
Yep.
Trader Joe's.
Almost
Okay.
exactly. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. I'm not opposed to that.
It was worth the run.
I thought it was like a wheel of cheese that just had a hole cut in the middle
Yeah.
for
That also would
marketing
have been
purposes.
worth the run, but but no. It was a hot oven baked treat.
Okay. Well, as always, I've bogged down the show with my stupid digressions, and I apologize, but I'm here to entertain me, not anybody else. So
And
laugh if you want. I don't care.
that's why this podcast is really going to blow up any day now.
Yeah, sure.
We do it for the fans, folks.
We do it for the fan. All
And the cheese ring.
3 of you.
All of our tens of fans.
That's what we
do
call it, the cheese ring.
the cheese ring. So he just, I guess he found her sweet little terrifying notebook drawings. I get just hard left back into it. Nostalgic. I don't know. He kept them. I guess it's not uncommon to just keep everything of someone's after they pass, especially if you were madly, deeply in love with them. But I feel like those drawings would creep me out a little bit. Maybe as a reporter, he was cool with it. I don't know. But did he keep those the whole time?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, it is like something drawn by hand.
Yeah.
So maybe there's a sentimental value in terrifying art by hand when your loved one passes away.
Yeah.
Well, like when my dad died, my mom kept a bunch of his stuff and has slowly given it away over the years.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that because
And
it
I
could
have a
be
lot of
a
his
lot.
hand drawn stuff because he was a doodler. He wrote songs. He did poems and like art pieces and stuff. So I've got some of that stuff.
Yeah, that's cool. That's
Yeah.
cool. It was crazy how it started out with just a little stick drawing of an angel, and then it got more and more. It just got darker and darker and darker.
And there was at one point like the face yelling that
Mhm.
she had drawn that was not moth-like, but it was face screaming. That was pretty terrifying.
I think, yeah.
Unsettling, I would say.
Now,
And then,
was the angel pattern also the pattern on the front of his car?
yeah.
Okay, cool. I thought so.
Well, yeah,
Because
that
there's like an
pattern reemerges a couple times because then it shows up
okay,
on the
okay.
tree, and then there were a couple other places, I think.
There was one like on the grill of his car.
Yeah.
And I think that was after he first got to Point Pleasant, question mark.
Mm-hmm. It was right after the car accident, I think.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because he did not get that window fixed for a while in his car.
Yeah.
Like I remember a significant, like after she's diagnosed and he's like stressing out in his car and you still see the shadowed window that she smashed her head against. And I'm like, you wanna fix that? Seems like priority.
I'm pretty sure it's illegal to drive around like that.
Yeah.
I know it is here.
I know it is for like windshields. I'm not sure how, because it was the driver's side window, not the windshield itself.
Maybe it's different I mean, I feel like in DC especially, you would get pulled over for that. In West Virginia because I grew up in southwestern Virginia, so on the border of Virginia and West Virginia. So West Virginia had a real it had a real moment in horror in the late 90s, early 2000s, because we had Wrong Turn came out, which was filmed in like the next county over from where I lived.
What county?
Oh, wow.
Greenbrier County.
Oh, that's where my family's from. Greenbrier County, Virginia, and Buchanan County, Virginia. Grundy, Virginia, where my family's from.
Oh, I've been to Grundy. My mom worked at Greenbrier Valley Medical Center, so she was a nurse there for a really long time. And my high school reunions
were the first settlers in Buchanan County, Virginia. They've got a little monument in the cemetery.
That's cool. Yeah, my high school reunions or the last ones have taken place at the Greenbrier. So
okay.
Yeah, they give us a nice little block. I've never been, but the people who go seem to enjoy it.
Yeah.
That's not my thing, which is I absolutely relate to this is a good segue. I absolutely relate to Richard Gere not wanting to socialize 2 years after his wife's death and just being like, you know what? I'm just gonna drive to Richmond 12 hours earlier than I need to
Yeah.
avoid
At 1 o'clock in the morning.
peopling right now.
To avoid
It's
a
not
blind
really
date.
my thing.
Oh,
Not
that's right.
my
It was supposed to
jam.
be a blind date setup. Oh,
Yeah, his
Yeah.
coworker had, like, was trying to set him up with somebody, and he was like, "You know what? I'm gonna bail, and it's 1 a.m., and I'm gonna drive to Richmond."
Yeah.
who does a blind date setup at a Christmas party? That sounds terrible.
Look, it's the end of cuffing season. If you haven't already been cuffed, it makes sense,
It's
you
cold
know?
I mean,
outside.
it's the
Yeah.
point where you're supposed to like uncuff and get rid of the baggage, right?
Well, I think you still want I think you still want someone to do the whole, like, kiss at midnight on New Year's
Mhm.
Eve thing,
And then
probably.
you get through Valentine's Day, and
Yes,
then you
and then
get rid of
after
them.
Valentine's Day, then you get rid of them before St. Patrick's Day.
Mhm.
Yes,
'Cause then
and
it
then you
starts to
go
warm
out
up,
and
and you can keep yourself warm.
Yep.
and then you go out and vomit green beer in front of your local Hurley's pub or whatever you got,
Yeah,
and call it a day.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm pretty sure them's the rules. I think. I don't know. We're
Let's
just
not
making 'em up as
pretend
we
that
go
Richard
along.
Gere. Let's not pretend that Richard Gere in this movie has ever had a beer. He's 100%. He's only drank wine,
Brandy, like aged brandy.
cognac. Yes,
You think he would
the
do a
fancy stuff.
scotch?
Oh, he's definitely a Scotch guy. He looks like a guy who'd be a Scotch guy in real life. Except
Yeah.
he's so vegetarian. I don't know if he would even
Is he a
consume.
vegetarian?
Yeah, he's famously like super Buddhist.
Oh,
So I guess if Buddhists
I
are
did
okay
not
with
know that.
drinking, he would.
Buddhists
He's
are
like
okay
friends
with
with the Dalai
drinking.
Lama.
Yeah,
Are
Buddhists,
Buddhists vegan?
they might be
He
vegan, but
is.
they, like,
Okay.
invented beer, so I think
Oh.
Buddhists are
Oh,
chill with
okay.
drinking.
Okay.
Buddhists are cool with it.
Well, I'm sure him and the Dalai Lama get ripped on the rigs. But yeah, his whole thing is like he's been at least a vegetarian for since the 90s.
Hmm.
Huh,
He was the first like famous Buddhist I knew that wasn't like Jackie Chan or somebody you would expect to be Buddhist.
Huh.
interesting.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
really strange.
I
Oh,
learned something new
can't say I
today.
paid too much attention to Richard Gere in my childhood.
He
Yeah.
organized a whole like free Tibet thing that lasted for years.
I remember hearing about that vaguely, but I don't know
That was
anything
his.
about Tibet or why they needed
It was
his
like a giant ass concert, and like um he had the Dalai Lama speak to
Huh.
like 80,000 drunk people or some shit. I don't remember it that well, but I just remember it
I
was
know
his
it.
like pet. It was like his pet thing back when he was like a big deal,
Huh.
and you would always see him with like prayer beads on.
Huh.
Yeah, so he at least he was super into it for like 10 or 15 years. So you know,
For him. I wonder if he's
hopefully,
still active in the free Tibet community.
Yeah.
I hope
Interesting.
so. Yeah, sorry again, another digression. Because we can't because I'm unwilling to edit video podcasts, and Jay doesn't want to either. All these digressions get left in where before they would probably have gotten chopped out. So that's why we were podcasting longer than the movie on the regular with these video feeds.
Yeah. So now everybody gets a little insight into how our podcasts always go. We just, cut some of it out. But not now.
Yeah,
Not on video. Now on video, you get to see Ron's digressions while he's in a onesie.
that's right.
People pay extra for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like the last video podcast I promoted, I was like, "Hey, look, you can see me struggling to form words in real time. Woohoo!" And
There's got to be like a Ronly fans in here somewhere. There's a
well,
joke in there.
I pity the person who would pay for this content.
Well, luckily they don't have to because we're free wherever podcasts can be found.
Yeah, and here's some free Mothman feet for you, so
Oh my God.
sickos can have a good time with that. Sorry, Mothman.
They're really adorable.
They really are. It's the cutest, like, little stuffed critter that we own. It's a
Oh.
Squishables.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of critters, this moth man or person thing, demon, what is he? Mothman's like
It's
a
just kind of an.
apparition-y type of
It's just kind of like
it's
an
an
all-purpose
otherworldly
cryptid.
thing. Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
he's considered a cryptid.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like though Indrid Cold is where you start to get into the creepy stuff.
Hmm.
Because like
Yeah.
Indrid Cold is like the gateway to the Men in Black, which are
Yeah.
also connected to the original, like the real Mothman story.
Except like
Which
the Injured Cold was never really associated with Mothman himself. It was never like a kind of a pair. It was he was his own
really,
separate kind of lore, if you will.
So then so is this all from the book? I have not read the book, and I'm not super familiar
I
with
haven't
well,
read the book, like I said, in probably, well, it's been over 20 years, so I don't remember what happened. I think he does this, like he does talk about, because it is supposed to be a nonfiction book. So it's not like the movie is based on the book, but not in the sense of the book is fiction and it's a copy of that. It takes inspiration from it. So I think it does talk about Injured Cold and his folklore, but not necessarily in the context of being with the Mothman, if you will.
Gotcha.
like if I remember correctly, April Indrid Cold was another guy in West Virginia who got abducted by aliens? Question mark.
He was. I think he was considered something along like the smiling man that would like show up at people's houses. He was not a phone call guy. But when he was around, he would show up at people's houses and just he was more Men in Blacky. But he had this weird smile thing. From what I remember, I'm not too deep into the lore of Indrid Cold, but I just know that he doesn't go with Mothman, and he was more of the smiling man and Men in Black kind of thing that showed up in weird places and was just overall weird and was never seen again.
That's
I
interesting.
know he's, I know he's technically like related to alien abductions,
Hmm.
and I forget the name of the dude who like was like, "This is my alien friend, Indrid Cold. He's taking me back to his planet,
Oh,
et
okay.
cetera, et cetera."
Okay.
But I'm pretty sure he was from Mothman territory,
Okay.
and I
Well,
think that's
West
why Indrid
Virginia is a
Cold
pretty
was
big hotbed for
Yeah.
yeah,
cryptids and
between those
weirdo
two
behavior.
and
A
what's
lot
the
of
other
meth
thing that's
there.
there?
What?
There's another cryptid in West Virginia. Do you know the name?
The Flatwoods Monster?
Yes. Oh, there we go. Very
This is
nice.
actually one of the um lanterns from the museum. There's like one mold that exists that makes those lanterns. So yeah, I'm big into
Oh,
West Virginia
nice.
cryptids. I've been to all the
That's
museums. Yeah.
cool.
But yeah, the Flatwoods
That
Monster is,
is
is another kind of alien-ish thing.
Cool. And Woodrow
yeah. I think Indrid.
Derenberger is the name of
Sorry.
the Indrid Cole friend. Woodrow Derenberger, according to
Okay. Thank
Google.
you.
Yeah, sure.
'Cause it was going to bother me, and I was going to have to wait till we got off the air to look it up because I'm impatient. But yeah, it's. Let's just jump right into West Virginia, shall we?
Okay. Yeah. There is this really interesting scene where he has his car looked at and the mechanic did not find anything wrong with it. And he goes, "All right, what do I owe you?" And the mechanic says, "Nothing. There was nothing wrong with your car."
Yeah.
And there is this confused look on Richard Gere's face. And I remember thinking that is the realest culture shock ever, having gone
Oh,
from
100%.
Southwestern Virginia to DC and then back home. My dad lives in upstate New York, which is actually a really similar type of space. It's like a smaller community town with farms and stuff. And everyone there is very much like this West Virginia mountain town. And if nothing's wrong, they're not going to charge you. But in DC, like they just charge you for your time period, like the time, the
Diagnostic.
10 minutes, the 10 minutes that they had to spend figuring out that there was nothing wrong. And everybody pays for something.
My question is, did he not have to pay for the tow?
Maybe he paid for the tow with cash? I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah, or maybe they didn't even charge him for the tow because they got it there and dropped the car, and it was like, oh, this car's fine. What's
Yeah.
wrong with you,
Yeah.
towny weird, you big city weirdo?
Yeah.
It's funny though, Lindsey, because like upstate New York is one end of the Appalachians, and then West Virginia is like the middle of the Appalachians. And funny enough, one of my car experiences in college was the radiator hose burst on my Ford Thunderbird, and he was like, all you got to do is buy the radiator hose for me, and I will put it on for you for free. And that was on the Kentucky side of the Appalachian Mountains. So they're very nice people.
Yep.
I say they, like I'm not, like
One
my
of them?
family tree isn't one of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was born in the big city, but my my aunt, my dad, and his father, and like all of my family are from Appalachia, from the foothills on this side of the.
I was gonna say, so do all three of us then have some like connection to living in or having family lived in the Appalachian Mountains?
Yeah.
Look at us
I think so,
reviewing this movie. That would they
Yeah,
are they
and
technically in the Appalachian Mountains here?
All
Does
of
it
West
span that-
Virginia is considered
Is it?
Appalachia.
Okay.
pretty
okay.
much all. Yeah, pretty much all of West Virginia is 100%.
Yeah. If you look at
Okay.
a map of what they consider Appalachia, every county in West Virginia is considered
Is
Appalachia.
okay.
I think
All
it's
right.
I believe it's the only state that all of it is considered Appalachia.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That tracks.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They get a bad rap.
So can we talk a moment about this movie and how it is basically Boggy Creek 2, The Legend Continues, but for the Mothman?
Tell me more about this
Yeah.
movie of which you
Okay.
speak.
So
Rana film strip fame.
in Arkansas, there is this monster called the Boggy Creek Creature. And it's in like the Ozarks of Arkansas, and it's their version of like a cryptid, right?
Okay.
And this guy, Charles Pierce, who was a teacher at the University of Arkansas, made this movie, Boggy Creek, about the cryptid. And it was so successful that he made another one in the 80s called Boggy Creek 2, The Legend Continues. And I don't remember a ton about Boggy Creek, the first one, but Boggy Creek 2 is him playing himself, getting a bunch of college students together, and then going into the Ozarks to interview people about their experiences with the creature, the Boggy Creek monster. And it literally is like the same thing we see here, like where we get these flashbacks of these people having their Mothman exposure. Like that's legitimately what happens in Boggy Creek 2. It's the same thing. Like he goes and interviews the guy, then we cut to like a flashback of the guy like on the crapper getting scared by the monster or whatever the hell goes on. And then we cut back to the smart guy in quotes, in this case a teacher, but in Boggy Creek's case a teacher, in Mothman's case, uh, big city news reporter who's there interviewing the local yokels about their funny monster man. And it literally plays out the exact same way, except it was like Boggy Creek 2 is ridiculous and stupid, and this takes it very seriously, and also serves as kind of like the precursor to The Ring in terms of like ambiance.
Yeah.
Is Boggy Creek, is it like it's supposed to be nonfiction, like he actually went and interviewed these people, or is it like fiction like Mothman where none of that's real?
It's both. He
Okay.
took real people's accounts of it and then just fictionalized it with actors.
Okay.
So he was literally taking real people's stories of like this skunk ape type creature. That's the most likely explanation for it. It's like the Ozarks version of the Florida skunk ape. because I know a lot about cryptids because I have no life.
Yeah.
But it was like, let's just recreate that with some actors, and then use those same actors that were doing the fake documentary part. We're going to use those for the reenactment.
Yeah, I know some of the stories from the Mothman Prophecies are actual stories from
Hmm.
what happened back in the 60s. Like the two teenagers. I think it
Yeah.
was there were a couple of teenagers that were having their fun. That are some of the
Necking.
people who saw, yeah, that's some of the people who actually saw or reported to see Mothman back in the 1960s.
Hmm. Yeah, it's that same basic idea where
Okay.
they take people's real reports of like, I was, running a moonshine still, and then some giant critter came out of the woods
Mhm.
and knocked over my moonshine still. Uh, those same kind of like newspaper reports were just fictionalized for this drive-in movie, basically.
Interesting. And is this streaming on Tubi, Ron?
I
Do
would
we have
assume it
to
is.
look at it in the depths of
It's
a
if it's
friend's
not on Tubi,
Pluto
you
account?
can watch the Mystery Science Theater 3000 version of Boggy Creek 2 on YouTube pretty much wherever you want.
Even
And if
better.
you don't have, and if it's not on YouTube for whatever reason, I will send it to you because I bought it and I own it.
Awesome. Yeah, that
It's
sounds
the it's the it's the very rare like Mystery Science Theater 3000 episode where I'm like, I could just watch this movie straight and have a great time. But then you add on the jokes, it's even better.
Yeah. Kind of
It's
like
that
Rocky
kind of
Horror
thing.
Picture Show. Like
yeah.
you can
Yeah.
watch
You
Rocky
gotta have the
Horror on your
callbacks.
own, but it's always much funner to go and watch the Shadowcast.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Also
would
The
agree.
Room.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel the same way about The Room and Rocky Horror. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's great on its own. It's great with a comedy track. It's great with a shadow cast. It's great throwing spoons at the screen and
Yeah.
yelling and hooting and having a good time.
Man. Well, so we have a big city guy interviewing some local yokels in both of these movies, but specifically in
Hmm.
Mothman, since that's what we're here to talk about. Connie, played by Laura Linney, has some funny zingers that kind of put Richard Gere in his place when he goes, "Oh, did you grow up on a farm?" And she goes, "Yeah, we even had shoes for
Yeah.
school and church."
Yeah.
She does mention too, we were talking earlier about the UFO guy, and she
Hmm.
mentions UFOs at one point when she's talking about all the different locals and
Mhm.
sharing all these stories with them. And she goes, I mean, UFOs are one thing, but this is totally different. It's like fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the Mothman is one of the cryptid tales that has kind of syncretized with other things over the years. Probably as a big, credit to this movie for being more popular than I remembered as being part of that. But like all the UFOs and the Men in Black and Injured Cold all kind of like blend together, and it's not
Mhm.
a huge surprise that that Mothy gets roped up into that because it's just a lot of fun. It's kind of like how they had that whole thing on, I'm going to say it was Hulu, about these illegal pot farms in the Pacific Northwest where the pot farmers were getting killed by big feet,
Mm.
Bigfoots, Bigfoots,
Bigfoot.
big feet.
Multiple what?
Big
Yeah,
Five. Yeah, Bigfoots, I think.
Bigfoots.
Bigfoots, Bigfoot sounds
Mhm.
better, but big feet is funnier.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because like if you're like I saw big feet, because if you saw multiple Bigfoots, I don't feel like it carries the same weight as saying I saw Bigfoots.
Yeah.
Sasquatches.
Sasquatch.
Yeah. The Yeti.
Maybe Bigfoot is like deer. Maybe Bigfoot is also the like multiple version of it in syntax.
That's fair. I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Oh, that does
Just
make sense.
Bigfoot.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Okay. We were
All
talking
right.
about anything but this fucking movie. I'm sorry.
I know.
Like, I don't even know what point where we've like discussed to. And like
We haven't really gone terribly linearly. I do have a question though for you both. It is Mothman trying to be helpful in these scenarios, do we think?
he's not doing a
Or
very good job
yeah,
of it.
or like is it just Mothman is trying to be helpful and it's going horribly wrong because it's not terribly familiar with how humans react to things? Or is it trying to cause more chaos and just like playing with people?
Maybe once again it's just a voyeur. He's there to watch that bridge
Mhm.
collapse. And he's there to watch people make out. And he just gets caught along the way, you know?
Yeah.
He's just trying to live his life, you know, live his best life and watch his reality TV maybe.
That's
And just people keep seeing him. And if they would just stop seeing him, he could just go about things.
yeah. But
And
maybe that's how it mixes things up, you know? Just like, well, let's just pop into, you know,
but
our
supposedly the
friend's house.
lore of Mothman is that he has been seen preceding other disasters, whether or not it's well known as the bridge collapse.
Yeah.
I've heard he's been, as speaking of Chicago, I've heard he's been seen in Chicago at one point.
So this so he keeps showing up to Gordon Smallwood, played by Will Patton. He keeps showing up at his house or to him. And
Well,
I feel like
Indrid Cold, not the
Mhm.
Mothman.
Indrid Cold,
Right. He
yes.
never mentions seeing
That
the
is
man.
that is a thank you. That is an important distinction. Indrid Cold keeps showing up to this man.
But so
And
does Richard Gere, apparently.
yeah. And
Multiple
yeah.
nights.
Yeah. Well, I assumed that it was Indrid Cole posing as Richard Gere because we've established that Indrid can like mimic voices and things because he calls
Yeah,
people when they don't actually call.
But we do see that we've got some kind of time loop going on because he leaves Washington, D.C. at 1 a.m. and then shows up at the house at
Yeah.
2:30 in the morning, and it's like supposed to be like a 4 to 6 hour drive. So we know there's some weird time loop going on. So maybe
So
Richard
do we
Gere is
think Richard Gere actually showed up 3 nights in a row?
I think it's some type of weird time loop thing. Yes. Like kind of
Hmm.
just like his
yeah, I
trip
could.
there.
Mhm.
Interesting. Yeah, I like that.
Well, and we also see that he loses time. He's like checking his watch, and his watch isn't working.
Mhm.
The car's electrical system starts misbehaving, and that's why he like gets a tow to Point Pleasant. Like that's all the hallmarks of like alien interference or supernatural interference, I guess.
Yeah. Okay.
Because all those are like super consistent with like the Betty and Barney Hill UFO abduction from the
Yeah.
50s, which I feel like this movie is just like, let's make a meatloaf out of every cryptid story
Hmm. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
every alien invasion story, and just like, all right, so we're gonna miss some time. We're gonna have your watches and your electrical stuff's gonna get all screwed up. Mothman's
Check.
gonna be there. Our bridge is gonna
Check.
collapse. We're gonna have Indrid Cold. Um, there's gonna be like mass hallucinations because like by the end of the movie, like 30 or 40 people have seen
Yeah.
Mothman or had some sort of like weird experience. You're
Which
gonna
is
get
not
like
the case
numbers,
in real life.
Yeah.
right? You're going to get like number stations because you're going to get these weird phone calls of people just saying jibber jabber. You're going to get like the weird electrical feedback in all of your systems. Like, I feel like they're just like he found like the big book of spooky dooky
Yeah.
urban. It was like, let's just start like mashing them all together.
Yeah. It felt, yeah, I didn't think of just the mishmash of UFO things kind of being
Honestly,
meatloaf into
if
it.
you don't know a whole lot about the Mothman sightings
Mhm.
before the bridge collapse, and it's not like Mothman was like seen around the bridge or anything like that. It just happened to be coincidental in terms of when these sightings were reported. Um, you kind of have to add in, I mean, all the fluff to make a movie out of it. But if you're not really familiar with the story to begin with, it doesn't seem that off.
Yeah. I feel like they could have spent a lot more time digging into more of the lore of it than
Hmm.
they did with so many other things. The empty phone calls and the interviews kind of eventually circled back around, and maybe that was just a nod to the original stories. The I don't know, I just feel like there was a lot of places where it dragged a little
Hmm.
bit.
Because it's not very Mothman heavy. Like
No.
it's that's why I say like the word Mothman in the Mothman Prophecies does a lot of heavy lifting in terms of what Mothman you
Yeah,
actually get in this movie.
yeah, yeah. I think 30 minutes could have been cut out of the movie that is and put back in as more, like, historical
Hmm.
lore-y things.
Yeah.
That would be my rewriting of it as a completely unaccomplished writer in any way. That's what
Well,
I would do.
I would want to see like him digging more into the quote unquote sightings of Mothman, other than just the ones that happened in West Virginia.
Yeah.
Like, I know that they want to have the bridge collapse, to work the bridge collapse into this thing, but also I
Hmm.
feel like you could have just fudged the timeline a little bit and be like, oh, well, when I don't know, there was an explosion in a mine in Argentina, people saw a weird moth creature with big red eyes,
Yeah.
and like, just you've already messed with the timeline because you know
Yeah.
Mothman was not around at the time of car phones. So
Right.
let's just fudge it a little bit more and be like, oh, well, in at 3 Mile Island in 1978,
Mhm.
Mothman was there at the nuclear plant where it melted down, and they even do it a little bit because they talk about how like 30 Mothman sightings were tied to like Chernobyl,
Hmm.
Yeah.
but like do more of that. Like, let's have Abraham Lincoln see Mothman outside of Ford's Theater, right?
Waiting
Let's
in the
just
rain.
lean all the way into this. Like,
Yeah.
But like they did actually introduce a couple of fake disasters in this movie. Like you have the 99 people in
true.
Denver who are killed. So it's like, why couldn't you have, why couldn't they have seen Mothman around that, like the kind of fake disasters that they made up for this movie
Yeah.
to
Hmm.
tie in a little bit more to really emphasize the Mothman in the Mothman prophecies.
Would have been nice.
Yeah, Dustin Hoffman, Dustin, Dustin,
Dustin
Hoff,
Hoffman,
Dustin,
Dustin Mothman.
Dustin Hoffman saw the Mothman on the making of Ishtar. That's uh,
I I feel like I remember, and unreliable, what are we talking? 23-year-old memory at this point.
Mhm.
Um, I feel like when I first saw the movie, there was more, so the Will Patton character, when he starts going a little crazy and he buys all that black paint and starts like painting his house, and then the inside of his house, the lights turn red. I feel like when I first saw this movie, that felt like a bigger deal to me,
Mhm.
and I don't know if the version I watched was cut. Ron, you watched literally the same version that I did, so I don't know if
mhm.
it was cut differently than the original DVD, but I feel like I remember that being a bigger deal, that he was painting an image of the Mothman on the side of his house and basically turning his house into a giant homage to this Mothman. Am I crazy? Maybe I'm seeing the Mothman.
I don't know because I don't remember like I feel like in the video store we got a lot of unrated director's cuts where it was just like, well, we filmed this shit, let's put it back into the movie. And
Okay.
maybe you saw like the
Maybe,
unrated.
yeah,
Yeah.
that could be it.
'Cause I
They
watched it
did.
just today, and I mean, it shows him going to a paint store, but I don't
They show him
see
going
the
to a
paint.
paint store, and they show some of the black paint on the side of his house. And then when Richard Gere goes to his door, it's when Connie goes to his front door and he opens it and he says he's been asleep the whole time, that he never called, never made the phone call. When you see inside his house, all the lights inside of his house are red.
Okay.
So, and
It's
that's what made me think of it was, oh yeah, we're going to get a big reveal at some point of him painting a giant Mothman on the side of his house. And then we never got that. So
Yeah.
I could be misremembering, or Ron, perhaps I did see some uncut director's video from our local rental store. Entirely possible.
I don't remember it that well, to be honest. I mean, why would I remember something from 24 years ago ish, 23 years ago?
Yeah.
I wonder if there's if people, and I'd have to look downstairs with my DVD, and then Ron, if you've got the DVD, if there's like, you know how a lot of the extra features are like deleted scenes or
Yeah.
additional endings or additional scenes. I wonder if there's any features there and like that.
That's true. And sometimes they have images on the front art for the DVD or the VHS, and that don't actually make it into the movie. That happens all the time. So it could have been something
I
like
feel
that.
like that could definitely be a trailer
Yeah.
shot.
Oh,
That
that's
could
right.
be.
That happens all the time too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Still kind of went down how I remember it. I don't, maybe, are there, you know what? I'm going to stop digging into into the memories that I had of this movie because it doesn't really matter.
We can only go off of what we've seen
That's true.
for
And
this
that's,
particular showing.
yes, indeed, indeed. But yeah, I mean, good old Richard Gere, he really went after when they were doing that bit where Indrid Cold was on the phone with him and guessing all of the different things, and Richard Gere runs over, shuts the windows, and turns all the lights off. My first thought was like, no, what are you doing? This is a scary thing. Don't turn all the lights off.
Yeah.
I want all the lights on. I want
Yeah.
to see everything.
Yeah, if I've got a strange person calling me and telling me things about inside the room, I'm not turning all the lights off inside the room.
No.
But I feel like he just thinks that he's looking in through the window.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got that, but I don't know.
But also, I feel
it.
like at a certain point, like, how's he going to know you put your watch in your shoe?
Yeah. Under the
Even
bed.
if he's looking at you through, yeah, because it's under the bed, right? You can't just see that from the window. It's not like he's like breathe. You can see his hot breath on the window pane, right?
Yeah. And this isn't
I don't
exactly
know.
an area where you have a bunch of tall buildings that he's, staring through a scope on a rooftop somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that scene in The Jerk where the guy is shooting at Steve Martin and keeps blowing up the cans, but with the Mothman.
Yeah. And the shoe under the bed.
Yes. He hates the shoe.
So he goes looking for these explanations and finds Dr. Alexander Leek, who is a character based off is it the author of the book?
It might
Of
be.
the original book, I think? Or
Yeah.
maybe he was just in the book. But Dr. Leek is or was at one point the expert in these paranormal type things.
Not even Mothman, just these weird occurrences.
Yeah. And then he just quits
Yeah.
because
His
he
wife left him and his kids stopped talking to him and he lost his job.
yeah. So I guess technically he didn't quit. He just he he lost his job and spent several years in a psychiatric
Yeah.
facility.
4 years.
4 years in a psychiatric facility. Do you think he still sees Mothman from time to time? Does Mothman just go away if you stop
Maybe
thinking about it?
Mothman is the friends you make along the way.
No, um I feel like it depends on your proximity to natural disasters and your
Uh-huh.
openness towards visitation. So I feel like he might still be getting like messages from Mothman, but he's not doing anything about it because he's like, you know what? I've learned a valuable lesson, and
Yeah.
my name's Paul.
Well, because in the beginning, the first Mothman sighting we get isn't a natural disaster.
Mm-mm.
It's that Mary has a brain tumor.
I mean, it is
And
a personal natural disaster.
that's
It's
fair.
not wide scale.
That's fair.
It's her own. It's their personal natural disaster.
Yeah. That's a fair point. But
So if he's the kind of harbinger of doom that they say he is, and he harbinged her doom. If that is harbinged the word.
yeah, well, I mean, the alternative
Sure.
is she just would have died in a couple weeks and they would
Yeah.
have found out post-mortem.
I feel like there are other symptoms of this
Yeah.
that may have they may have caught along the way had she not seen Mothman and wrecked the car.
Yeah.
Well, he
Perhaps.
talks about it like when Will Patton goes to, and I forget the character's name, but Will Patton goes to the neurologist, right?
Mhm.
Just like you
Yeah.
hear these voices, you see these visions, um, and they go through a list of like potential like glioblastoma symptoms, and the doctor's like, "No, Will Patton doesn't have any of these."
Yeah, because I think and Richard Gere is at the doctor with them, so sometimes when you go for a cancer diagnosis, you bring the guy who showed up at your doorstep 3 nights ago, I guess.
Yeah.
But he's like, "Are you sure it's not glioblastoma?" And like the doctor's like, "No, it's not." Yeah,
I have shoes for work and shoes for church. That was
might
kind
be
of
the
how he
same pair of
treated it.
like,
Like,
yeah, they might be
yeah.
the same pair of shoes. But like then the wife is trying to convince him like you don't have this because the
Yeah.
doctor told him you don't have this.
I feel like there was a little bit of Richard Gere thinking the doctor was just this country bumpkin
Mhm.
doctor that didn't
Yeah.
have rows and rows of CT scan brain imaging
Yeah.
in front of him.
And it was a real
Definitely
hospital.
didn't go to decade of medical school.
Right.
Like, the doctor seemed pretty confident.
Yeah.
But
He is still a doctor after all.
yeah, yeah,
And also, like, let's not kid ourselves. This doctor has probably treated a lot of black lung. He's
Hmm.
familiar with reading X-rays and seeing weird masses in X-rays.
that's
Yeah.
Like,
true. Yeah,
it's not that huge of a jump.
yeah, no, no, yeah. But I feel like he did kinda get the, "Are you sure?"
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
doctor was like, "Yeah, idiot, I'm sure."
Right. Because he's seen one diagnosis in one, and it's very rare, one diagnosis in one person. So clearly this
Yeah,
other person must have it.
yeah.
And the doctor's like, "Look, I know it's West Virginia, but I got my degree from Johns Hopkins. I know what I'm
Yeah.
doing
Yeah.
here."
Right. They're like what the West Virginia doctors are not going to, some rural school where it's farm medicine that they actually practice. They're still going to the same schools that every other doctor goes to.
Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah, the University of West Virginia is still a pretty accomplished
It is.
university.
Yeah. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I have a friend. Yeah. Yes. They might burn couches, but so does the rest of the country now.
Yeah. Cars, couches.
Yeah, whatever. Whatever's convenient, easy.
I know the University of Kentucky stole the couch burning thing from West Virginia and started doing it too. So
Good for them.
Hmm.
You know?
yeah, frat guys are going to burn stuff regardless.
Climb
Yeah.
light poles, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it's not going to be burning couches, it's just going to be burning when they pee.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
University of Kentucky humor.
Speaking of, do we think Laura Linney and Richard Gere, became a thing? Did he move to West Virginia post movie and
date
just
No.
settled
the sheriff?
down and
Yeah, he took over the West Virginia Gazette. If that's
Yeah.
even a thing. And
I'm
he's
sure they
there
have a
as
local
Scotty the
paper.
sheriff. Yeah.
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 Yeah, he's teaching journalism at App State now.
Oh, well, so they moved to North Carolina.
Yeah, well,
App State's in North
yeah,
Carolina.
I know,
Okay.
but I couldn't remember the other school in West Virginia that isn't West
There's
Virginia.
one in Morganton, isn't there?
There's Concord
Yeah,
College.
Yeah,
in West Virginia.
Morgantown's the only one I know.
Marshall?
Marshall, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Marshall actually, if I remember correctly, from when I was applying for grad school 30 years ago, has some legit study programs in
Mhm.
journalism and writing and that kind of thing.
Yeah. He could totally be a professor at Marshall. WVU. They're colleges in West
Yeah.
Virginia. He could teach or the local high school.
And,
And also
and he's
run the
pretty close
paper.
and he's right at the Ohio border, so he could
Yeah.
just hop across and go to wherever.
Why
I
would you
think
want
one of
to?
the places he flies into is Columbus.
Yeah.
So
I think
Mhm.
when he was going to, she was saying something. Was it during Christmas Eve that she got him a ticket to Columbus, or was it when he had to go meet
yes,
the politician? Forget which
it
one.
was after he'd met the politician and had blown up his life.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was when she called him to get him to come back so he wasn't alone on Christmas Eve. She's like, I tried to get you a flight to Charleston, but you'll have to fly to Columbus, which is pretty.
So he's just
Point Pleasant's probably about an hour and a half from
Yeah.
Charleston. So it was when we stayed in Charleston when we go to Point Pleasant.
When she called and told him that she got him flight out of Dulles, and it was in an hour, under 2 hours from when she called him.
Mhm.
His flight wheels up 1:45 and it was almost noon. Genuinely concerned. I was like, he's not gonna make it. He's at Georgetown. Dulles is a really long way away.
But that was back in the day. No, that was back in 2002. Depending on the pre-post 9/11 kind of thing, before 9/11, you just walked on in.
Yeah.
You could. I remember
No.
flying, and my grandparents would just walk me to the gate, and
Yeah.
that was that.
No, this was definitely post 9/11, so he would have had to go through all
Yeah.
that security, and
His shoes off.
there's definitely traffic.
Yeah.
So, I was concerned. I was like, "He doesn't have time to pack," and luckily, I guess the scripting worked well because you see him just leave immediately out the door. He packs nothing. He brings, his wallet and his keys, and that's it. So that made it believable. But before that point, I was like, he's not gonna make it. He's never gonna get there in time.
But we've already established that time loops are a thing. So
That's fair.
his
That's a good point.
transportation.
You make an excellent point. He
yeah.
probably made it in 30 seconds or
Right.
so.
Yeah. So if he could
Which
travel from
yeah.
DC to Point Pleasant in an hour and a half, he made it from Georgetown to Dulles in 30 30 minutes.
For sure. Yeah. That's the
Yeah,
dream.
Mothman just magicked him through airport
Yeah.
security.
He flew him.
Yeah.
He flew him there.
Yeah. No, yeah, he just rolled right out the door. So glad. And then he made it. And then he saved number 37
Mhm.
from this collapsing bridge. Screw everybody else.
Yeah.
Just her.
Yeah.
Well, I
Although to be
think,
fair, he was like running up and down the road yelling
yeah.
at everyone.
Yeah. So he probably did save a bunch of people
Yeah.
by like kind of sounding
Apparently
the
he
warning
saved
bell
exactly 10.
in real life.
No, because
Oh.
in real life 46 people died, in the movie 36 people died. So let's just pretend that Richard Gere saved 10 people.
I like it.
Yeah.
Every
Also,
small town
like-
needs a Richard Gere.
Also, like, why is everyone in town parked on the bridge at the same time?
Well,
They're
said
going to
in the
Christmas
movie
dinner.
it said it was there was traffic. Like
Mhm.
there was an issue with the traffic light at the other side of the bridge. And so I know in real life it was rush hour when it collapsed. And so they had it's a pretty decent sized bridge because it goes over I think, is it the Ohio?
Oh, that's true.
No.
It's the
It's the
Ohio,
Ohio.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty decent sized bridge. So if you've got a traffic jam sitting on it.
And it was 6 o'clock on Christmas Eve in the movie. So if
Yeah.
people actually worked that day, then rush hour, the rush hour would have been pretty bad because everybody's leaving to go to Christmas Eve
And I
dinner
think
or
they
do their things.
established that like the chemical plant that everybody probably works at is on the other side of the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of makes sense. Because remember, before he's like thinking back to like disaster on the Ohio, and you see the chemical plant, and then like
Yeah.
they pull the camera forward or back from the chemical plant, and there's the bridge in front of it.
Yeah.
So I feel like everybody at this plant, everybody in this town works at that chemical plant, and they're all there either on their way to their second shift shit job or they're coming back from their first shift job, and that's why there's so many people on the bridge at one time, because
Mm-hmm.
it feels like way more people than 36 die.
46 people died in real life.
No, I mean just in the movie,
Okay.
it feels like people died.
Yeah.
You see at least
36 and even 46, given if you've seen the bridge in real life and how long it really is, that seems like a very small number, actually.
Yeah.
But it also seems like 50 cars fall into the river, too.
Yeah.
Right?
I do want to point,
shit
that was
feels-
a really cool shot with all the cars with their headlights on,
Mhm.
kind of beaming
Mhm.
up from the bottom of the river.
No, that whole sequence when the bridge starts to collapse is the best part of the movie.
Yeah.
Yes, I would agree.
Because it looks incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. And then that poor boy who is necking in his car with his now fiance.
CJ.
Yeah. Did that bridge thing look like it came down and went right through his head?
That was Final Destination shit.
That's what I thought. And then
That's some really bad luck.
so I was getting these Final Destination vibes, and when Laura Linney was number 37, I was like, "Oh no, was she supposed to die? That means she's gonna die Final Destination style at some point. That log truck is gonna get her.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen."
So Richard
That's the sequel.
uproots his life, moves to West Virginia, and then loses his second wife to
Ugh.
a Final Destination situation.
And then gets investigated for life insurance fraud.
Yeah,
It's a whole
yeah,
mess.
yeah.
After his girlfriend Winona Ryder dies of ovarian cancer and Dr. T and the Women, he just can't cut it. He just can't get a
Yeah.
break.
All right, there we go, Hollywood. We've written your next 2 Mothman movies. Easy.
Mothman 2, The Revenge of the Logging Truck.
Oh man. What yeah, I don't know. The bridge sequence was really crazy. Do either of you, I did not spend time looking into it. Was that cuz there wasn't much, I don't think there was a lot in this movie that was done in CGI. They made a lot work without it. And so
Mhm.
however they built the bridge scene held up really well
Yeah.
over the course of the last 23, 22 years,
Yeah, I'm
23
pretty sure
years.
that's not CGI because I'm pretty sure this predates any like easy to watch, good looking CGI.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. Because this is like bad Harry Potter on a broomstick CGI years.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it
feel
is.
like this had to be all like practical effects, and that's probably where most of the movie's budget went to.
Yeah. Yeah.
There aren't a whole lot of effects otherwise
No.
beyond that.
They don't really need it. I mean, the
Mhm.
couple of Mothman sightings, the one big one, I think, was an actual guy in a Mothman
Okay.
costume. So even that was practical. Yeah. I mean, again, it looked good. It held up. Um I wish we got more of the lore. I wish we got more scenes like the bridge collapse scene.
Mhm.
That was really great. But again, they lived
Someone
happily ever after for the next however many days.
until death came back for her.
Yeah.
Although in her dream, so there's a dream, like she talks about earlier in the movie, she talks about a dream sequence that she had where
Yeah.
she is in this water surrounded by floating presents and all these weird lights and something, and she felt like she was
Oh,
dying, and something tells her, "Wake up, number 37, wake up." So
Yeah.
that's kind of where like the
yeah,
significance of them saying,
So she
uh,
was meant to live,
correct,
not
yeah.
yeah.
She wasn't supposed to be. It was her because they talk a lot about precognition in this movie, and so
Yeah.
it's her precognition that she was supposed to survive this event.
And then she did.
Yeah.
yep. Laura Linney
She
is the girl who lived.
Yes. I did wonder, I don't I don't understand. That's not some of it I do. I don't know. The air bubble in the car,
Mhm.
like how she and I guess the way it fell, I had to have this explained to me. The way the car fell at an angle, like absolutely a thing that can happen. It can fall in such a way that there's an air bubble pushed
Yeah.
up. I had no idea. I was like, that doesn't make any sense. But, you know, I didn't major in science or anything. So
Yeah. I think
that wasn't my
I mean
thing.
it doesn't immediately things don't immediately fill with
Yeah.
water. So I think
But well, the thing was that the back window was open.
okay.
So I was like, well, if the whole car was closed up, sure, I'd buy
Yeah.
it. But
Okay.
he climbed through the back
Yeah.
of the car because the window had gotten blown out.
Okay.
So that's why I wasn't sure why there was still this air pocket in the car. But I guess if it falls at this
It
angle
filled,
at this
yeah.
certain force, then yeah, they can create this air
It
pocket
fell
within the car.
back end in. And
Yeah.
kind of so I guess that would
Yeah,
kind of force things towards the front with.
Yeah.
kind of like a
So
diving bell. A diving bell is open on the bottom,
Hmm.
but you lower
okay.
it in so that the bottom part, like,
Or like the canoe in Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, really. Like
that works.
yeah, or like even when you put a cup, if you put your cup into like your sink of water, you still have
Yeah.
the bubble, not, and it kind of stays.
Science,
Yeah.
y'all. Didn't know we were going to Bill Nye this movie, but here
Yeah.
we are.
Yeah.
Mothman, how do they work?
Mothman, the
and
science.
and what you need to know.
Yeah.
Uh well, gosh, we've just gotten through so much material tonight. On some of it was even on the actual movie.
Right. Yeah.
We're
I
there.
mean,
I
I
think
guess.
the only thing we didn't really talk about, and maybe because it's not super notable, were the score or any of the music in the movie. I have no notes on that.
Again,
It didn't really stand out to me, but I don't know if either of you have anything to
I
add.
I was wondering earlier today because I had thought when I was watching it today again, I had thought I heard the beginning of like an actual song. And then and so it kind of
Hmm.
is like I was like, is there a soundtrack to this? But then I never heard the song. So it was like maybe it was in my head. So but I did
No,
wonder for a brief second, is there a soundtrack to this thing? But I
I
don't
had the same like mental image, April, of like that's clearly a pop song they started, and then they cut away from it really
right,
quickly.
right. And that's why because I know some of the movies or a lot of movies around that time had really good soundtracks. I know The Crow did, like
Mm-hmm.
Romeo and Juliet, and so I just for that split second I was like, is there a soundtrack to this that kind of falls along the lines of those? But there is not.
Yeah, is there like a Mothman movie theme song by Silverchair on this thing?
9 Inch Nails.
That would bump this up a popcorn rating for me if that were true, I think. But alas. Well, I
You
guess.
get me closer to boss.
I was trying to think of if are there any like light themed bands from the 90s that would fit into a Mothman, and I was like, no, I'm going nowhere with this.
I don't know. Smashing Pumpkins could probably pull something off. Didn't the
That'd be fair.
Cranberry was it? Yeah, who did the one of them wrote a James Bond theme song that was really good. I think it was Smashing Pumpkins.
Smashing Pumpkins
Now I
did a
can't
Batman
remember.
movie.
I think. Are you thinking of Chris Cornell from Soundgarden?
No, no,
Before that,
but I do
let's
like
see.
him too.
Madonna. Chris Cornell did one. Madonna did one. I'm trying to backtrack towards the 90s.
It
I
would have
keep
been
thinking of the Mission Impossible 3 soundtrack with Limp Bizkit. Uh, and then or Mission Impossible 2, Limp Bizkit, Mission Impossible 3, Metallica.
Oh, Limp Bizkit did do that. Wasn't it Take a Look Around that they did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. And when I saw them last year or 2 years ago at Louder Than Life, they played that song.
Yeah. Okay.
hmm.
Did you go to Louder Than Life this year?
I didn't go this year because I
Okay.
couldn't afford it.
Okay.
I didn't love it. I wasn't in love with any of the bands. I mean, there
Oh,
are lots
okay.
of bands I would have loved to have seen, but not for that price.
Okay. Yeah, I know Sleep Token played Louder Than Life, I think the day before they played the Greensboro, North Carolina show. So, because I met
I
somebody at
was,
the Greensboro show that had gone to Louder Than Life in Kentucky and then drove to Greensboro, North Carolina overnight to see them again the next day.
I mean, all you got to do is follow the tour bus and then sleep behind the tour bus.
And to dig myself out of the Smashing Pumpkins hole, they did have a song called Theme from James Bond, which
Okay.
was not actually used as a
Oh,
theme for
Okay.
James Bond. So, not totally crazy,
Right.
but
But it makes sense.
just a little bit,
It's easy to be confused because when you title a song
right?
"Theme of James Bond," yeah, and that's all you see in your head.
Sure. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure I
no,
remember
that's
back
fair.
when music videos were a thing, they had one. But you know what? Neither here nor there. So I think at this point we can safely say it's time to give our popcorn rating. So April, as the guest on our show for tonight, the guest of honor, let's start with you. Please give us your popcorn rating for Mothman Prophecies.
What is the scale that I'm working with
The
here?
scale is, great question. The scale is any size popcorn you would get in a movie theater.
Okay.
You can do any add-ins you want, extra butter, salt. Ron's done M&Ms. We've done chocolate syrup. It can get as crazy as you want. We've added sodas to it.
Okay.
I mean, there's no real rules, but just on
No,
we'll call it a movie theater concession stand rating scale
like extra small through extra large, and you could
Okay.
just
is
kind of
the
add like
standard scale. Yeah.
it's
I would
burnt, it's stale, it's good. You know,
I
Mhm.
would give this a medium popcorn with extra butter and probably I would probably get the medium combo and get the cherry Coke with it. I wouldn't upgrade to a large or refillable or the specialty popcorn bucket, but I would go solid medium.
Cherry Coke does kick it up a notch.
It really does.
We like that. Ron, what about you?
All right, so there's a lot of good things about this movie that we didn't talk about, like the 15 minutes of Will Patton, who's great.
Mm-hmm.
Richard Gere is actually really good in this. I didn't remember him being like a noteworthy actor in any sense of the word, but he's pretty good. Laura Linney does a lot of the heavy lifting, I think, in their particular scenes. This movie, like I described it earlier, I was like, it kind of feels like the spiritual ancestor to The Ring in terms of a stylistic. Like, this movie is going to be slow and atmospheric, and there's going to be weird shit happening, and it's as much a detective story trying to explain the weirdness as it is like a monster flick, right? But that said, it's pretty good, and it's better than I remember. Um, I don't know if I've really seen this anytime within the last like 10 years, but it was worth watching again. And this is one of those movies where I feel like the real story, uh, specifically the injured cold stuff, would be more interesting than the movie. But I'm going to join April in the Medium Popcorn Club. Medium Popcorn with extra butter sounds about right. There's good vibes. It's not an enthralling watch. You're not going to like be on the edge of your seat, but there's enough like weird kind of creepiness to give it a little bit of that like David Lynch, like behind the surface of this town of relatively nice people. There's some weird shit happening, but not quite to that degree, and not quite to that level of being like super entertaining as David Lynch shit tends to be for me. So I'm gonna go with the medium popcorn. What do you think, Lindsay?
I am going to join you both in the medium popcorn with a few less toppings and side items. I think I really wanted more of the actual lore from it. I think it lasted too long for the type of movie. They really indulged themselves in a few things that I think probably could have been cut. But overall, it was a good movie. The like Ron just touched on, the acting in it was solid, and we talked about how good that bridge scene held up. So I would give it a solid medium popcorn, which is what the popcorn rating was in my head before we started talking about it, and sometimes that sways to one side or the other. So I'm pleased that it still kind of held true to my original feeling. And it's been a good, I would say, close to 19-20 years since I've seen this movie. So it it was still good. It took me back. It was nostalgic, and it was an easy like gateway thriller movie that I could watch with my husband, who normally doesn't like stuff like this. So I I was able to rope him into watching it with me. So if you have someone who's like horror or thriller curious, as I think Kendall calls it, um, this is actually a pretty good movie to kind of sit them down for, because it's pretty interesting, but not too in your face. So yeah, medium popcorn is my rating. So before we close out officially, April, is there anything you're excited about that you're working on that you'd like to share with our tens of fans
Um,
listening and or watching?
so I am actually not a huge movie person. I'm a book girly. So I mean, I do have my personal, it's actually a joint, like book themed Instagram account called Bedrock and Bookmarks, that kind of nods to me being a geologist and the fact that I like books. So I mean, you can usually find me
Awesome.
reading a book. Like right here, I have what I'm currently reading. As I was waiting for this to start, I'm like going through. So yeah, I'm a book girly. If anybody wants to check, if anybody else is a book person, and they want to check that out, that's what I've usually got going on. You can usually find me reading.
Awesome. Ron, are you working on anything you'd like to share with the folks?
Ooh, I have a line on some stuff, and when I get some stuff actually written, when I get the time to write it and possibly get a computer to write it on, I will let you guys know. But I finally found a place that will let me publish my piece on whether or not a cab includes RoboCop, and I'm very excited about that.
Well, we will look for that and share when that comes out. And with that, everyone listening and or watching, you can find and follow us on social media at FilmstripPod. We share announcements about upcoming shows as well as other fun content. And don't forget to subscribe and share the show. Bonus points if you leave us a positive review. It makes us feel real good about ourselves. Until next time, thank you for listening to Filmstrip.
Thank you for listening to Filmstrip. You can find more episodes on our website, filmstrippodcast.com. The Filmstrip theme music is produced and performed by Frozen Lake 121. All content used or discussed in these podcast episodes is the property of the respective owners and used under the Fair Use Act, Section 504, C2, Title 17.